Report exposes how Tinubu's 1 billion naira offer to reps averted tax reform showdown during budget presentation. Can you imagine? So I know that is what they do. They will just call them members of the assembly, both upper and the lower chambers, and then buy them off so that by the time they present their whatever they're presenting, whether a bill or whatever proposal, it will just pass first, second, third reading at randomly without anybody looking at the content. I know that is what they do most of the time. But now this one now is a leak. Let's go into the details to see exactly how Tinubu probably bribed his way through the National Assembly to avert showdown during the budget presentation with respect to the tax reform wahala. So a fresh report has revealed an alleged offer to lawmakers prior to the Wednesday presentation of the 2025 budget to the National Assembly last week. So Politics Nigeria reports that the Senate and the House of Reps at their separate plenaries on Thursday passed for second reading the 49.7 trillion naira restoration 2025 budget. So President Bola Tinubu's administration has been accused of using a hefty 1 billion naira offer to appease lawmakers and avoid a showdown over tax reforms bill during the 2025 budget presentation. So according to sources, an increased constituency project allowance was granted to each member of the House of Representatives, totaling 1 billion naira. Oh boy. So just before the president presented the budget estimate to the National Assembly. Wow. According to the sources, an increased constituency project allowance was granted to each member of the House of Representatives. Can you imagine? Constituency project allowance totaling 1 billion just before the president presented the budget or the budget estimate to the National Assembly. Wow. So the move allegedly eased tensions between the executive and the legislative branches as lawmakers had initially planned to protest the tax reform bills. So it is understood that an emergency meeting with the House leadership led to the decision to shelve their plans. So the source said during the meeting, they appealed to members to respect the sanctity of the hallowed chambers and the existing cordial relationship with the executive to shelve their plans to disrupt President Tinubu's speech. They therefore announced that the president had graciously increased the constituency allowance to 1 billion naira per member. Oh boy. So now that is constituency project allowance now, will that get to the constituency or is going to end in their pocket? These people now, wow. So the report also revealed that each senator is likely to get about 2 billion to 4 billion, although the exact amount could not be independently verified. Experts have raised concerns that this move may be a strategic maneuver as the projects are likely to be awarded to companies handpicked by the lawmakers. So the money will be padded in the 2025 budget in the name of constituency project, but it is a mere red herring, a legislative expert revealed. So in the 2024 budget, lawmakers received between 200 million to 500 million, depending on their closeness to the speaker or chairman of the appropriation committee. So in July, each senator and House of Representatives member received 500 million and 200 million respectively after approving the president's request to increase the 2024 Appropriation Act by 6.2 trillion naira. The tax reform bills, have sparked intense debate with some lawmakers and governors prominently from the north or northern part of Nigeria opposed to the proposed bills. So what I'm seeing here is that the executive led by Tinubu just successfully bought their way through the National Assembly just to pass the budget. That's what we see there. He just bought his way through. So, but the question is, how can this, this leak be verified? Because, well, it is Politics Nigeria that has just reported it, and that means it's from a reliable source. That is what it means. This is quite unfortunate, I'm telling you, that our politicians can just be bought over. Can you imagine 1 billion naira for each member of the House of Rep, and it's going to be about 2 to 4 billion naira for each member of the Senate, which is the upper chamber, just to make sure that the budget sells through. And they're going to pad the budget to cover this expenditure, because this is a very huge expenditure. And they're calling it constituency project allowance has been increased. So it's in the budget. That means as they sign the budget, they are signing out that they know what is in it for them. This is very enticing. And our politicians, being that they don't have conscience, will just go ahead and sign, because huge money will come to them. Now, wow. Now, in the comment section, as always say, as long as the deprived and depraved Nigerian youth are still playing ethnic card instead of, uniting and confronting this hydra-headed corruption going on in Nigeria, politicians will stop at nothing to increase the suffering of the masses. So it seems some people are enjoying their suffering. Talk of Stockholm syndrome, not the lie. Because if you talk now, some of the tribal bigots, religious bigots, and the party bigots will come out and start talking rubbish. The Tinubu's fraudulent, dubious budget is the budget for the renewed stealing, not renewed hope. Exactly. They are calling it renewed hope. This is robbing Peter to pay Paul. They call it renewed hope. They title it renewed hope budget 2025. But this is renewed suffering. So nothing is surprising in a failed state. The citizens in Nigeria are just refugees living in a camps, trying to make a living out of any remnants thrown at them. Serves them right. This cannot happen in other countries, even within Africa. I'm telling you, there will be trouble. Comes a foolish reporter. Are you saying that even the opposition lawmakers were also involved or beneficiary? By their names, we shall know them. Yoruba Ronu. Can you imagine? Yoruba Ronu, so Yoruba get sense. Yoruba think. Can you see what this one has brought the ethnic and the tribal card now? I'm telling you. This one has brought out the ethnic card into this discussion, so that they will now say, turn it to tribal war. Some will say, now them, Obingos, we know them. Can you imagine? But yes, of course, Nigeria do not have opposition lawmakers. They are only opposition in West, in action, capital no. And that is true. That is gospel truth. They would not have opposition. Both the PDP and the Labour Party, all of them are just there playing to gallery for the APC. That is the truth. But now they've thrown the ethnic card. Well, everybody will suffer it, not one person. The very day that the corrupt INEC chairman declared Tinubu president, from that day, I regretted being in Nigeria. Nigerian youths are busy chasing shadows, indulging in all manner of useless things like Yahoo rituals, cultism, from one church to another, when a mega money is being shared on daily basis in our useless government. I wish to be adopted by any country except Bangladesh. I'm not commenting this cause I'm poor. No. Quite unfortunate. This is a lie. It can't be true. Yeah, are you sure? Pardon has reincarnated, and that is the truth. Pardon has reincarnated. It is only a fool that will believe your story. It is unfortunate that the hardship had produced more Nigerians who run amok, fake, and concocted stories and negatively to fill their emptiness. Can you see what this one is saying? You will know exactly where it's coming from. That is the truth. Content writers and concocting lies. How do you know? Have you gone to verify? Now, it is terrible in this country when it is very hard for poor millions of Nigerians to feed. They are given 1 billion naira to share among themselves. They are feeding fat on injustice, suppression of the poor, and corruption. But God is watching them and will ultimately triumph over this evil in this country. Just because of infamous tax reform to deplete poor millions of Nigerians, more to fund 15 trillion naira coastal road contract in favor of his son. It's a very bad one. And meanwhile, people are defending it. Nigeria, our country. Nigeria, the country. It's quite unfortunate, to tell you the truth. So thank you for listening. Let's have your comment. That is what is leaking out of the budget that is currently being signed, and how the National Assembly collectively have agreed to just pass the budget because their interest has also been protected. Quite unfortunate. At the expense of the livelihood and welfare of 250 million Nigerians or more.